What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Clint. I'm back with the total takedown for UFC Vegas 73, and we're probably going to keep this one short. I don't know if you can tell at all, but I am stuffed up as all hell. My allergies are absolutely killing me. I'm not sure I'm going to be fun to listen to, so let's get straight on into it. This is Pub Sports Radio, and of course, these lines are powered by Superbook Sports. Give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get straight on into this. First fight of the night, Thimba Garimbo is taking on Takashi Sato. We have a total set at 2.5. The over is plus 135, the under is minus 155, and violence makes so much sense to me here. Thimba has been caught before, he has been knocked out before, and that's the one thing Takashi Sato has going for him is that big power. Problem is, he never lets go. He never uses it. He's been getting knocked out in his more recent fights. We already know he's got a grappling weakness, so he can be taken down, submitted, knocked out, and if he decides to let his hands go, we've seen what he can do with that power. He could absolutely knock out Thimba Garimbo. I think the under 2.5 makes sense. Next up, Victoria Leonardo taking on Natalia Silva. This one's weird. It's a 2.5. The under is minus 135. And I want to see what the number being offered is on Natalia Silva inside the distance. I think Victoria Leonardo's tough enough to survive that first round. But this fight goes however Natalia Silva wants it to go. She's by far the better fighter in this position. If she wants to finish, it's going to be finished. If she wants to show off her skill set and pick this girl apart for 15 minutes, then it'll go all 15. I would suggest staying away from this total. If you can get a better number on Silva inside the distance, even if it's just like plus 100 or something like that, I might play that myself, but that makes more sense to me than taking the minus 135 under 2.5. I kind of want those final 2 minutes, and the number may be just a little bit better. We'll find out when it drops. Nick Fiore taking on Chase Hooper. Oh, here we go. Total set at 1.5. The over 1.5 minus 170. The under 1.5 plus 150. Both these guys do have finishing upside, in my opinion. Nick Fiore, we saw him land on Rebecca a couple times big. It seems like he's got power. He's a natural 155er. Chase is moving up in weight, and that can go one of two ways. Obviously, it could be beneficial, and he would be more dangerous at the new weight class, or he could be a natural 145er, and maybe he's not quite suited for this weight class and gets mauled. So both guys definitely could get it done. Obviously, both BJJ black belts. We could see submissions, and Chase Hooper obviously has that ground and pound capability as well. I've got that bet on it already. I'm hitting that round 3 sprinkle, so I'm expecting this thing to end probably late second, early third round if it's not going to go the distance. Over 1.5 minus 170 I think is probably a decent bet. I wish it was a little bit cheaper to play that 1.5, but it totally makes sense to me that this thing goes a little bit over. Rodrigo Nascimento taking on Ilir Latifi. Total set again at 2.5. This one's super binary to me. Over 2.5 plus 105. Latifi by decision. That's what this guy does. He's not killing anybody on the feet. It takes everything he's got to make it 15 minutes in a fight. He's 40 years old now with back problems. I don't trust him to do that. Under 2.5 minus 125. That's Nascimento getting it done. Whether it's by sub, he is a big guy who knows how to grapple. Whether it's by knockout, we've seen him use those hands a lot lately. That Muay Thai is getting better. I think Rodrigo Nascimento probably finishes, so I'll say under 2.5. But if you're in the Latifi side, over 2.5 probably sounds pretty great. Next up, Gilbert Urbina taking on Orion Cosce. Another 2.5 total here. The under is minus 130. Over 2.5 is plus 110. This one's tough because I do think violence probably is the answer. We've seen Cosce hurt on the feet a lot. He makes a ton of mistakes. And on top of that, he does absolutely everything with fight-ending force. The Cosce brothers blow their wad in the first round of every single fight they've ever been in. And if they can't get that, they fall apart the deeper the fight goes. Now, Cosce has been able to rally and grapple, grind his way for 15 minutes even when he's been tired. But against a bigger opponent who I think is far more technical and skilled in Urbina, I don't know that that's going to happen. I actually think Urbina has that finishing opportunity here as well. We've also seen him knocked out, so it's not like he's immune to taking damage here. Under 2.5 makes a bunch of sense to me. Vanessa Demopoulos and Karolina Kowalkiewicz. We have a women's MMA 2.5. Over is minus 270. Under 2.5 is plus 235. And I might get a little hot takey here and say under 2.5. I know that sounds crazy, but Karolina, her last couple fights, she's definitely looked a whole lot better. She's looked better than I gave her credit for, but I still don't think she likes getting hit in the face. I really don't. Ever since she had that face break, she doesn't react well to getting hit, and Vanessa is strong. She's really strong. She's explosive. She hits hard. I think there's a chance that she might actually crack Karolina. Now, if this thing gets into a grappling realm, Vanessa's actually a BJJ black belt. Karolina really has relied on being able to style on these girls on the mat. I'm not sure she'll have that success with Vanessa Vanessa here in this spot just because of how damn strong Vanessa is. So I kind of think one of these girls might actually get finished in this spot. Tinfoil hat, I actually think Vanessa might knock her out, but we'll find out on Saturday. I'll say under 2.5. I'm not overly confident in that one. I'd rather play the knockout prop at 10-1 than the plus 235 on the under, but we'll see. Slava Claus taking on Maheshate. What a battle of the first names here. Total set at 2.5. Over is plus 140. Under 2.5 is minus 160. And I have to go violence here again. I mean, how do you not? So Slava's got the ground grappling weakness. Maheshate's not really a grappler, but we could just have him find his way on top position. He's so damn big. He's so damn strong. And then if this is a striking matchup, both these guys have knockout power. It's going to be a battle of ranges. Is Slava going to be able to get inside and use that boxing? Will he get stuck at kicking range? And will Maheshate pick him apart with those flying knees and long limbs of his? I don't know, but I think somebody somewhere is getting knocked out. I think under 2.5 minus 160 is probably the path. And now, when compared to the beginning of this show, you guys are probably hearing the stuffiness creep into my voice. I am so sorry. We're going to get through this as quickly as we can. Michael Johnson taking on Carlos Diego Ferreira. Total set at 2.5. Over 2.5 is plus 125. The under 2.5 minus 145. And again, I think we see violence. Like, this is a scrappy card. Some of these fights are gonna weasel their way over. I know that. But I can't help it. Like, the way these fights are lined up, I think this one's gonna be entertaining as all shit. And I think we're gonna see a lot of finishes. Michael Johnson, he's got the sprawl and brawl down to a T. He's got those strong, powerful hips. He's hard to take down. He's got nuclear missiles in his hands, and he's so fast. Carlos Diego, while he, like, gets in people's faces and tends to melt them, he's super hittable. And we've seen that before in his previous fights. Michael Johnson will eat this guy alive in boxing range. Now, the opposite is true if it gets to the ground, though. Diego is one of the best MMA wrestlers and grapplers, I'm sorry, not wrestlers, jiu-jitsu players we've ever seen, and his wrestling is actually pretty decent, too. His ability to scramble is also excellent. One of these guys is going to sleep. Either Carlos Diego is completely shot, and Michael Johnson's going to nuke him, or they're going to end up in a scramble after Diego maybe, weathers the early storm and finds his way to MJ's back and then taps him out. Somebody's getting finished. Under 2.5, minus 145. That one may actually make my official card. Joaquin Buckley taking on André Fialho. A 1.5 total. Over 1.5 is minus 130. Under 1.5 is plus 110. And it's funny because these 1.5s, you would think that means, the bookies think there's a better chance of these fights finishing. They probably should go under 1.5 more often, but I always find myself looking over the 1.5s. It's like, as soon as they give me, they give me 2.5s, I'm like, under all day, baby. And as soon as they give me a 1.5, I'm like, gotcha, we're going over. It's kind of how I feel here. Joaquin Buckley has talked about, not wanting to get knocked out anymore. And that to me tells me he's going to probably come in D1 Buckley for this fight. He's probably going to be a little bit more careful coming into this one. And André Fialho, he's chinny, man, but he takes a couple shots before he gets chinny. Like, he's one of these guys that can get in there and bang with you a little bit, but then once things start to go the wrong way, once you figure him out, then he starts getting cracked deeper in the fight. And I kind of think that's how this goes. They're probably going to be both a little bit tentative, not wanting to get hit, not wanting to get knocked out, maybe a little bit more grappling than we'd expect, and this thing creeps up into the second round, and then probably someone goes to sleep in the third. So I'm saying over 1.5 minus 130, another play that might actually make my card by Saturday. Lupita Godinez taking on Emily Ducote. Over 2.5 minus 330, under 2.5 plus 270. I have zero intent on taking the narrative in women's MMA and flipping it on this one. I think whether it's grappling with Lupita pushing the wrestling or whether it's these two kickboxing for 15 minutes, I think Lupi will be able to put Emily on the back foot and there will be some decent exchanges, but both of them are tough and durable enough to stay in the fight. I'll say over 2.5, not betting it. Edmen Shahbazyan taking on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. We do have a 1.5 here. The over 1.5 is minus 145. The under 1.5 is plus 125. And I'm not going to be greasy here on this one at all. Give me the plus money. I like the under 1.5 here in this spot. Now, I've already made a bet on Edmen Shahbazyan. You guys know I like that side. So I will admit to being biased. But frankly, if anybody's going to take out Edmen faster than someone like Brunson did, it would be somebody like Fluffy. This guy just has one direction, that's forward. He's going to melt this kid if he gets his game plan going the right way. If he doesn't, and if, like I believe, he's going to be way too hittable early in the fight, I think Edmen cracks him and probably puts him away way quicker than people are expecting. Under 1.5 plus 125, I like it. Main event time, Angie Hill taking on Mackenzie Dern. We've got a 4.5 here. Over 4.5, minus 145. Under 4.5, plus 125. And again, it's super binary, right? Like, there definitely is finishing upside for both women on this one. I guess I should take that back. We've seen Mackenzie Dern go 15 minutes. Hell, we've seen her go 25 minutes. We've seen Angela Hill go 25 minutes many, many times. But I don't know if Dern can take a 25-minute beating from Angela Hill. That's kind of the question. Is there's the chance Angie might actually find her way to a knockout if Dern can't get the grappling going. And then if Dern gets her mitts on anybody, the fight could be over with some kind of a sub. I hate this number, but like with women's MMA and the short notice movement to being a 5-round fight and all the weird stuff going on this one, I kind of feel like somebody's going to end up getting dragged on this one. I'll say under 4.5 plus 125. That is my least confident pick on the entire card. Don't touch that. That's the total takedown, everybody. Record time. We're done. See you tomorrow. Hopefully my nose will be better for the undefeated post-weigh-in show. Have a great day. Let's roll.